Hi, my name is Landon Bryson, and I'm blind.
I'm Matt Collier, and I can't smell.
I'm Ashley Fairfax, and I'm Landon's mom. That's not right.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Senseless Podcast. My name is Landon Bryson, and I'm blind.
And my name is Matt Collier, and I can't smell. And today we have special guest.
Ashley Fairfax. I'm Landon's mom.
And today's episode, we want to kind of focus in. First of all, this is the first time we've had a guest, so thank you for being here.
No problem.
It's already been fun. You'll see later in the behind the scenes. But we wanted to kind of find out a little bit about the other side, the flip side of this, where, you know, if you've listened to our other four podcasts.
Four.
Other four podcasts, we talk about how I was born without a sense of smell. Landon was born blind, and then how we kind of developed our, what would you call it?
Our oh my gosh, our mindset of independence.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yes.
And so now on the other flip side, we want to kind of hear how Landon's mom raised him to be more independent.
Someone with all five senses helping develop that mindset of independence for their child.
There we go. So Ashley, or Miss Fairfax, as everybody else knows you.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, like,
Landon.
maybe the first time you not met Landon, of course you met him, the first time that you
In
realized.
the hospital on April 1st.
That is my birthday, and it's not a prank.
That explains so much.
Doesn't it,
April
though?
1st, 2010.
April Fools.
Yeah.
Okay. But how you first realized when Landon could not see?
It was, about 4 weeks old, and he wasn't focusing. Like, his eyes were going back and forth a lot, very fast. There was no focus on anything. So when we had our checkup at the doctor, we spoke to the doctor about it, and then we just started getting tested after that because he was supposed to be able to follow at that time.
Okay.
And he wasn't.
Okay. So then what goes through your mind when you hear this and see this?
Well, obviously, you never want to think anything is wrong with your child as a parent. That's never something that wants to cross your mind. But being early on, we were just like, well, maybe it's just like a little bit of like a developmental delay. So let's, start getting tested. And then when they sent someone out to the house to do tests, he's a baby, so there's only so much you can do at this time. A lot was like, let's look at early intervention. And then if there's anything a little more severe, then we'll hook up with the School of Deaf and Blind. And so at that time, I'm like, oh, it's fine. Like, we'll just do some early intervention. It'll be okay. And then when they came back with the results, that there is a little more severity with his vision. We need to look into it more and to do some more research with it. They submitted School of Deaf and Blind paperwork to get him started. And so that was a little more scary because that's more of like, there's a diagnosis a little bit.
This is real.
This is
It's
real.
like more of a label on it.
Right. And so that was a little more scary. And then, it took us a long time before we got a real diagnosis, like what it was actually called. He was 5 years old before they figured out what it was really called. And he has Leber's, congenital amaurosis, LCA. And so that was a lot of paperwork and going up to Duke and dealing with that. A lot of tests.
Okay. Do you have a question?
I have one, but I want to get farther in first. I have one for later in the story.
Okay.
So please proceed.
All right. So I guess what then was your course of action?
Well, I think we just kind of jumped right in. Like, what do we need to go ahead and start doing? Because we didn't want any. Yes, we know there's something visually going on there, but we didn't want to like hold back from any other developmental, delays that could happen with that. So we just dove right in with the School of Deaf and Blind, and they started sending, therapists to our house, like a vision therapist, O&M, a speech therapist, because Landon, I know he talks a lot now, but in the beginning he did not talk a lot, and it was a lot to do speech because you had to, you had to kind of.
You couldn't see anyone's lips
right,
moving,
you couldn't
so.
with that, and like. I have bread, but like you don't know what that is, so you couldn't tell like this is bread.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We would point at something, and usually that's how we mimic the speech, right? Point. This is bread, or.
Was there ever, and this wasn't the question I was going to ask you later, but was there ever a thought of not necessarily giving up, but like it wasn't all just confidence, right? Like, was there definitely any anxiety in the?
Oh, for sure. I mean, not and it thought giving up was never on the table, but yeah, there's always a little anxiety when something's going on that you don't know, and you have to learn how to navigate something completely different than what you're used to, especially
Mhm.
with your children. Because I had already had a child at this time and knew the steps, kind of, of like
Right.
what we should be at what age and things like that. And so already raising a child and then raising one completely different, but to have the same type of life in the household.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of anxiety with that, and just making sure that you do everything correct and that you provide every opportunity. So when we started doing those therapies and things, like, you had to make sure that, we learned to walk, we learned to speak correctly, we learned how to sit, how to put on shoes, things like that were
Yeah.
really different than with any other
This
child.
episode will not boost my ego, by the way. I just like to point that out because
It's okay. Your
between
ego
the three of
doesn't
us,
need more
there are
boosting
plenty of
anyway.
things that they can say to make sure that it's level-headed.
Yeah, there's a lot of ego that we knock down a lot.
Just thought I'd point that out.
Uh,
But anyways,
So surely there's this moment, right? Like, what are we gonna do,
Mhm.
right? But then, okay, this is my kid. We're gonna do this. So tell
Mhm.
me a little bit about, like, there's got to be that first reaction too, like, well, I've got to coddle this child and keep
Mhm.
him from harm, and we got to treat him so differently.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Well, I think, like, in the beginning, you're kind of like, if something not necessarily is wrong, because while, Landon can't see, it's not that it's a mistake or wrong.
Mhm.
God creates us all in a perfect image of what he wants us to be. But with that in mind, if anything is not how you think your child should be at that time, like,
Mhm.
there's always like, okay, well, then let's just let's he can stay with me, he can be with me, I will do this, I will do that for him. But I think it came to a point where, like, you can't think about that, because if you consistently coddle or, like, try to do everything
Right.
for that child, then they're not going to learn on their own. And the goal of every parent for their children is to grow up and be, a good human, a good citizen, be able to be independent. And
Mhm.
if you do coddle at all, I mean, like, we all coddle our children to an extent. I still dip all of my kids' plates, like, I just do. It's just something I do. But we all want them to grow up and move out of our house, live
Right.
on our own. So I think even if you have those thoughts, you have to kind of just be like, okay, no, can't do anything different. If we do it differently, let's see how
Yeah.
to do it differently for him to be independent, not
Okay.
necessarily like coddle and not let him do it at all.
Can you give me an example of maybe something that you remember, or do you remember anything? What was one of the first things that maybe you remember your mom saying, you know what, you got to figure this out?
I need you to help me out here. I'm thinking.
So I have a great one,
Okay.
but this, like, if I say this, it's going to seem like I'm such a bad mom.
Okay.
But like, we're very, especially when they're young, like, let's go outside, be
Yeah.
outdoors, we climb trees or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so Landon's like, I want to climb a tree. And at some point, I'm, like, with every kid, you're like standing there and you're like
Mhm.
watching.
them.
But I'm like, okay, if I have to back off a little bit. So I was just like, go for it. Let's go. I'm
Let's
down
see what
here.
happens.
Like, I'm down here, but let's see. Because with climbing a tree, you cannot see the limb. So he's
I feel
literally
like I know where
feeling
this is gonna
everywhere.
go.
No, and that one was great. It was him and his cousin, Bella,
Oh yeah, me and her
and
super
Connor.
close.
And they were just outside climbing a tree, to the point, like,
Oh,
Connor.
Momo's backyard.
Yes, Connor
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
"Oh, Landon, you're a beast!" Like, because which
Nice
Connor never
job, dude.
compliments
Thank
Landon.
you. And
'cause-
see, I've definitely fallen off my fair share of trees, but I do remember this because we'd come home from church, and almost every other week, me and Bella and my brother Connor would climb that tree, and we'd just have so much fun. And so I remember doing that for sure.
And it wasn't like it was a huge tree. I mean, it was just a small
Yeah.
tree in the yard. But he had to learn to how to feel for the next branch,
Mhm.
his weight of having to pull up from here to there. And I mean, that's something we kind of take for granted, because, like, we can all see the next limb that we pull up on,
Yeah.
and where to step and where not to step. And so he had to do that. So we're all out there standing under it, of course, but you just kind of have to let him do it. And I think that was like, I mean, he was probably like 4 when that happened.
I was gonna say, and we climbed that tree for a long time after that until I don't know, we just don't climb it anymore.
And I'm sure there were smaller things that he did
Okay.
that, we didn't
Yeah.
coddle as much, but I just remember that one because it was such a
like
big thing.
tying your shoe. That one took a while. That was a struggle. But you know what? That was a struggle bus, and there was a blind driver, but we figured it out.
Bless.
And it was rough. But now I tie my own shoes, and I'm in 10th grade for Yoda's sake, and people are still like, Landon, I can't believe you tie your own shoes. And I'm just like,
I have slide-on shoes right now.
Me too, actually.
that's so lucky. I want to, if you don't mind me asking a question.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to fast forward a little bit
Okay.
to, and this, again, is not the question I was going to ask you later, but it does have something to do with it. With school,
Mm-hmm.
especially going into middle and high school, were there ever any worries of, you know, not being as, not necessarily popular, but not having as many friends, or dealing with issues with schoolwork? And she's in a very good position to handle this, because if you don't know, Miss Fairfax works at the school. But, you know, like even before then, were there ever any like, okay, maybe this is something I have to do something about with schoolwork?
With elementary, I don't really think I worried too much about, you know, like a friend aspect. You know, kids tend to be, you know, when you're young, you're
was just
just
saying, I
kind of
was
friends
chilling
with
in
everybody, right? And I think middle school got a little more difficult, because I think middle school is hard for everybody. It's not the best age, you know, you're growing up, things are changing. So I think I worried a little more then with friend aspect and just finding your group, because everybody has a group out there for them. And I think it was also a little more challenging because, you know, at that time we were stepping out, being more independent with our schoolwork, and stepping away from having like a one-on-one. And, you know, we had Mr. Pritchard and Mr. Tucker for a long time just to be a one-on-one and navigate and be in the classroom.
Yes, because those were, if anyone doesn't know, those are self aids or kind of guides. They would
Like a shadow.
they'd help me do work. They'd help me guide, you know, they'd guide me to different classrooms, all sorts of stuff like that.
But like preparing for high school, like we had to take a step back from that in middle school, because, you know, you don't want to come to high school and you want to be able to, again, navigate independently, get to places, because, again, that's 4 more years before college and living on your own. So I think that was just a little more challenging, just knowing that you're going to be doing more by yourself. With high school, I haven't really worried as much, because I'm here because I work at the high school. So if you ever need something in here, which is great. I also think going to Buford has been very beneficial, and it's been a blessing, because it's the same group of kids.
I was just going to say, it's
Yeah.
the same community that I've grown up with.
Right.
And so I've been extremely lucky compared to other
Everybody knows everybody. Like we have
That's
all
good.
grown up with everybody from, I mean, I didn't go to Buford, but, you know, from elementary to middle to high school, it's the same group. There's no other
Like my
outside
grandmother
schools coming
teaches at
in.
the elementary school, so it was a shout out to Miss Stroud. But like, you know, it was such a close-knit kind of thing.
Right. So I don't think I personally have not had to worry as much about making sure that you weren't going to be okay, because I always knew, especially with the, you know, great people we have within our Buford school systems. I think I just worry more about, you know, making sure that we stay on top of things, everything's accessible, and going forth like with our schoolwork, because it gets harder and harder with each grade. But that's about it.
Which I've noticed, by the way.
Yes.
So I want to bring up the next topic, which
I
I'm
already know
probably
what it is.
sitting too close to him, because I know how
Yes,
he's
I know
gonna
what it is. I
react.
know what it is, and I'm not going to say anything during this, so you guys feel free to listen to
So-
them talk.
I'm not going into detail. I've already told you that. That's up to
Carry on. Carry
That's
on.
up to Mama here.
No
Okay. So treating him no differently than anybody, a sighted
Right.
person, right?
Right.
So how do you address that with like discipline measures? I
It's the
'cause
same.
I know he's not the angel we all think he is,
Right,
right? Like he's
right,
got to
no.
have a little bit of
Everybody has another side
mean
to them.
streak in him
Yes.
sometimes, right? A little curiosity.
I
Right?
watch
think-
the podcast. I'm sure I see a little bit of that mean streak come out.
Everybody
Julie, so.
has bad moments.
Right. Everybody has moments in their life where we don't make the best decisions. So in our household,
Blind people can't, not that it's a bragging right, but blind people can make bad decisions. Just thought I'd tell you.
doesn't mean we should.
We should not. But
Discipline is the same in our household. If you've done something you know is wrong and you've continued to do it, or you know you chose to make decisions, then there are consequences for your actions.
Sure.
And in our household, a lot of times with that we have 5 kids. So with that very first grounding, that very first big mistake that you've made, we don't really give time limits on when you get your stuff back. It's a trust thing. You have to earn those things back, whether it's your phone, your computer, your game, your TV, whatever it is. It may be your sport, your club that we took away. You have to earn those back. So that could be a month to 6 months or a year, depending on when we think you've earned it back. As time goes on, we tend to give more of a time limit because it's not like we're trying to hold something from you forever. But every child in our house is the same when it comes to discipline, chores. Landon does chores every other weekend. He and another person clean the upstairs bathroom, or
Which
he
we
might
probably have to do this weekend.
right, or he might wipe down the counters and clean the kitchen, and they all have to clean their room.
Yeah.
The only thing Landon doesn't do himself is his laundry, and that's just because we're getting a new washer and it's not accessible for him to use. But chores, grounding, everything's the same.
Yeah.
We have to make it level because he has to learn the same rules and have the same morals that we're trying to instill in every other kid.
Yeah.
So
Now, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's you.
I want to ask.
if you ask me on this podcast when you're getting yourself back,
Was not going to do that.
Some
Actually,
more delay.
It was a completely different topic.
I didn't go there.
I would just like
want
to
the
point
record
out,
to show.
completely different topic. But going back to the school and stuff, and you can say whatever you want about this.
mm-hmm.
Do you have? Were there any particular reasons that you chose to keep me as a blind individual enrolled in a public school versus SCSDB or South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind? Was it to make sure that I learned what you wanted me to learn? Was it to be there for your kids? Stuff like that.
Well, so I fully support the School of Deaf and Blind in Spartanburg in South Carolina. It's a great school and they have great resources. We do live outside of a 50-mile radius. So when you live outside of a 50-mile radius, the students have to stay on campus Monday through Friday. They come home Friday evenings and come home on the weekends. I personally did not want to be away from my child for that long. And that's just nothing against anybody else who does that. That's fine. I think that's great to be at that school. It's a wonderful school. But when we did the research and talked to some of the people at the School of Deaf and Blind, they fully supported Landon staying in a public school because, Landon's personality was always pretty big and, loud. And he was able to, after, his speech therapy, when he got into elementary school, vocally tell what he wanted and stand up for himself with those things and really have deep conversations about those things. So there was no need to send him somewhere to learn those extra life skills because we could provide that here in the school. Having, Miss Jolly as his
current TVI teacher for the visual impairment.
And then we have Miss Story, who is your
O&M teacher, the cane, how to use this, crossing streets, shopping, all those fun things.
Right. They were able to provide resources such as, those programs and those people to come out and teach here at the school for certain periods of time. So there was no need to send you there. I thought it was just best to stay home with us and to stay in our family house,
And we've had a lot of people in the past who've come out too, and those other TVIs that I've had for a long time, and other O&M teachers that have really helped pave the way for.
We've had a great
success.
Support system within.
Which is another reason why I'm very lucky.
That's good.
Yes.
I had one more question for you, but I forgot what it was. So
maybe you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll be okay.
Do I like this topic?
You don't know about it.
Okay.
So
well, I guess we're about to find out.
Will you share with us just a humorous story without embarrassing him too much of something that may be cute that we can go, oh.
Not the diaper stuff.
Not the diaper stuff?
Keep that between the four walls
Hey,
of
I
that
can't
house
smell, so it's okay.
And what was on the walls of that house. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my gosh. I might have to think on this one. You might have to edit out some time because I might have to think on this one.
Let me sing the Jeopardy theme song while we wait.
That will make it go even longer. I will seriously sit here and not think of anything because I'm on the spot.
Okay.
Oh, Landon being cute.
She's
or
like,
just like
she's like there's barely anything to choose from. It's so hard.
Like an embarrassing story or something. Like my mom would tell one probably about like she was walking around complaining about this smell that was so bad, and then I'm like, I don't know, and my dog had pooped right underneath the seat in which I was sitting, and I couldn't smell it obviously because I was born without a sense of smell. So my lack of ability to smell kind of made that funny story. Is there something similar to maybe?
Like, I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah, help me out here.
I'm trying.
Even when he was.
I could tell you an embarrassing story of me personally, and then I'll let her. So I'll tell one while you think.
Okay.
I was in. This is very recent. It was yesterday, and I won't name names, obviously, but I was in La Clase de Español, and
Shout out, Senora Conwell.
yes, shout out, Senora Conwell. Teach me how to say shout out in Spanish next week. Or wait, 2 weeks. I'll be off Thanksgiving break next week. And someone, so embarrassing. Someone had gotten up. It was a guy who got up to go use the bathroom, and he was like, "Puedo ir al baño, por favor? Can I go to the bathroom, please?" And she was like, "Sí." And I thought it was someone else. I thought it was a girl because I only heard the baño part, and I was like, "Oh, adios." And I said the girl's name. And everyone started laughing, and the girl was like, "Oh, that was not me. What are you talking about?" And I was just like, "Oh, well, okay, whatever." And then he came back, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." So if you count that as embarrassing,
Sure.
I count that as embarrassing.
Yeah.
Have you gotten something?
Okay, wait, I have something. Okay, this is very cute. So in elementary
This is
school,
very
this is very cute, but
This is
kind
very
of
cute.
embarrassing. So in elementary school, we I can't remember what grade this was, but Landon was learning, and it was like Martin Luther King.
I'd like to
Yeah.
point out that I was a lot more blunt and vocally rude with my speech in elementary school.
Even more so than now.
Yes, if you can believe that's
Wow.
possible. Okay, continue.
So Landon, we were learning Martin Luther King, and we were going through. I think they had to pick someone to be
Mm-hmm.
for this. Well, I can't remember what grade this was, but I just remember they
Might
had
have
to
been
pick
fourth or
someone
fifth, if it's what I.
to be. And so we were going, who's made a difference. And Landon knew there were different race of people.
Oh my gosh, I know where this is going now.
But I don't think we ever specifically talked about our race.
This is
in
not
our
cute.
household.
Yeah, because that's how can you
Right. So like
Mom,
When
am
you
I,
talk about
Mom, am I black or
differences-
am I white?
visual differences, right?
So
when-
like Landon's
when you
asking,
can't
and he's
see.
like,
He's like,
He's
am I
like-
black?
he's like, am I black or am I white? And I was like,
What?
and he said this out loud in front of people, and I was like, oh my gosh, we've never really talked about this because we can't see it. I mean, he couldn't see in our household. We've never pointed out, but he just yelled it out like at this event at the elementary
I
school.
did? I thought it was at home.
No, and I was just like,
What event was this?
I think we came to see everybody's stuff.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
Wrong time to yell that when you're talking about Martin Luther King.
But it was so cute. And then we had a whole conversation. And I think this is when Mr. Tucker came in too. Mr. Tucker was great and loved Landon.
Oh,
and
Mr. Tucker was the
and
best.
he was so good. And so Landon
Shout out to Mr. Tucker.
shout out to Mr. Tucker. We love Mr. Tucker. But so this was a great opportunity. It was a great learning experience for Landon to know what we yell and don't yell out in public
And also
places.
that we don't discriminate regardless.
Right, but because we at this
Beautiful.
point, while he knew there were other races out in the
Right.
world, and he's never visually seen, so this was a great learning
That's
opportunity.
great.
But he did. He was like, "Am I black
Yeah.
or white?"
And it wasn't even like in the am I black, am I white? Because like I didn't care about, obviously I didn't even know.
It wasn't
so
a judgment call.
Yeah,
It
it
was
wasn't
just
like
a
it was
informational.
just
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
then you have to think
lack
about
of
that,
knowledge.
like for visually impaired people, we
Right.
don't see.
Well, you probably asked too, like what color your hair is.
Yes, all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
still ask that sometimes because people tell me different things, and I'm like, okay, what color's my
Yeah.
hair? Or
Yeah.
like whenever my mom gets her hair done, I'll be like, what color's your hair? What color? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
because my hair
Sure.
is not naturally blonde, and I dye it blonde all the time. But I mean, these are different. Like you don't think about these things,
Right.
like
It's just
Any
natural
visually
for
impaired.
sighted people as opposed to
right.
to notice any kind of visual difference. So no, that's great. That's awesome story. And again, it just shows too that for me, like you said, it's not a discrimination type of thing. It's
Not at
just
all.
informational, and how we all do just get along, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And or how we should all just get along.
I
even
like
if
it.
We don't.
Probably at the time where we need to be wrapping it up. And so how
Exactly.
can you get a hold of us
So
to let us know some questions you have?
you can email matthew.collier@lcsd.k12.sc.us. Woo!
Very good.
Matthew with 2 T's.
Two
For the
Ts.
longest time in elementary school, I thought Matthew was with 1 T, and it made my dad very mad.
I tell people this story that people actually spell Matthew with 1 T,
yeah.
and they don't believe me.
Well, I
So I'm
wrote.
glad you know
yeah,
that.
because I'm glad to be the
You verified.
embarrassment in your story because
You
I
fact checked it.
I wrote like these really cringy books about magic and stuff, and the dad was Matthew, and it was 1 T, and it was
So it was like Matt Hugh.
yeah,
Matt
Matt
Hugh?
Hugh.
Matt Hugh.
Matt Hugh.
Matthew.
So I want to also encourage you to go check out BufordStinger.com and look under our people section for our Stinger blogs and read about some of the great things that Landon has to share with us.
I fall out of a raft, if that gets your interest. I got so
Go
much
back,
positive
yeah,
feedback
you want
on
to
that
rewind
one.
and go check out the summer series that he was sending us about all the
Yeah.
things that he was doing over the summer. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any other questions for Miss Fairfax, please let us know. And if you want to be a guest, come hang out with the two coolest people you could probably do in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Let us know, and we'll have you on our show and put you in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Between two ficus.
Between two ficus.
Oh, bless.
And yeah, I
Bless.
want to,
See what I did there?
thank you guys again for watching and continue to watch because, or listen, watch, listen, both.
Both.
Continue to both. And yeah, I just want to say, and this is not me trying to get anything back, and this is not me saying this just because she's right here. I was actually just talking with someone about this today. We're going to talk later. But as teenage life, as hard and dramatic as teenage life is, I'm very lucky to have a mom like mine, and I'm very happy that she's on the podcast, or that she was on the podcast with us today. And I know that I'd be in a different place if it weren't for her and the other support group that she's allowed to have in my life. So I appreciate you a lot,
Oh, no problem.
and I love you.
I'm pretty awesome. I love you too.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. Anyways, okay, we're gonna teach you our new, or not new. We're gonna teach you our outro. So we're each gonna say it. Ready? Until next time, Senseless out.
I'm not saying that. I've told you I don't like that.
You've said it before.
No. To tell you, now that I heard you actually say it, I know you practiced it in front of me, but I don't think that's going to help you get your stuff back.
Senseless out.
Or you can clip it to your necklace, your keys, or whatever, but they better not jingle jangle. Look at that.
So
I wonder where
while-
you get it from.
while this podcast, blah 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 blah. And today
Wow,
we have.
I say blah, blah, blah. And they all point at each other. So I thought maybe we could try.
Gifts are inaccessible.
What do you mean they're inaccessible? For
What are
you?
talking about?
What did you say? Yeah.
With
Like,
all
they don't work with this already.
No, but I'm saying people will get it. It's a meme.
No, I know. I was
Yeah.
just pointing out a fact that they're inaccessible, which is why I probably didn't know that.
I got you now. Okay.
Yes.
So you're trying to make me feel bad. I got it.
Sure.
Well, you're always a blooper.
Well, that's why everyone loves me. Has something to do with.
No,
It's
we're not talking about
inappropriate.
that. This is a family show. Please-
So it's between two ferns.
so I'm calling this Between Two Ficus.
Do you even know what ferns are?
Which one?
It's the other fern.
I don't know. Do you want me to say on this family show? I didn't know what you were referring to.
No, I
What?
don't know what you're talking
I
about.
thought it was something bad that I didn't know.
No.
We all, like, if we wanted to do the point thing at each other later. She's got the cane. So the main thing is you two. I'm going to have to sit between you guys again. So I should say, I'm Ashley Fart Facts.
No, you shouldn't. I don't know why y'all are so obsessed with farts and bodily functions.
Wait, okay.
Quiet on set. That's you.
Oh, I said,
Oh my gosh. This was a mistake.
We should have my mom on the show more often.
I'm gonna go. Ready?
And look at, we're looking at the camera. All right, so we're ready.
My neck is so red, come up so hard.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Landon Bryce.
All right.
I have next.
Who's
You
that?
should have Abby Falconberry.
Oh, she's the best.
Because then Landon can do all his impersonations.
We
of her.
love her so much.
Is that her?
Oh my gosh, have you never?
Yes.
Say, we
Don't
love
put
it
these in
here.
the blooper.
Say we love
it's
it
going
here.
in the
love it
bloopers.
here.
Say we love it
We
here.
love it here. Or what is it? Really?
We love that for you.
They're learning. Oh my gosh, from the lunch. Oh, okay.
How would Miss Falconberry sign us out?
Oh, she'd probably, whenever I would say senseless out, she'd be senseless out. I love that. That's what she'd say.